Guys, on tonight's episode of War Week Boxing, we're speaking with the 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogi. We're going to get his thoughts on who really won, Vergil Ortiz Jr. or Sergey Bohachuk, and also, does Vergil deserve the Terence Crawford fight? All this and more on the latest edition of War Week Boxing with Coach James Gogi.
Vergil Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogi.
Guys, happy Sunday to all of you guys. I tell you what an incredible weekend of boxing we just experienced. Tell you what, on 2 different networks, both main events delivered. Oh, geez. Vergil Ortiz and Sergey Bohachuk. Oof. In a fight of the year candidate, produced fireworks and high drama. We'll find out what Coach Gogi thought of the judge's verdict at ringside, and also Angelo Leo with the shot heard round Albuquerque, taking the IBF featherweight title from Venado Lopez. But guys, you don't want to hear what I think about it. Introducing the incomparable Coach James Gogi. James, how you doing, sir?
Got a lot to talk about, Joe. Got a lot to talk about tonight. Got a couple great fights going on. The main event of the Golden Boy show lived up to its hype. Okay, we knew on paper it was going to be a physical, grinding matchup between both fighters because both fighters had that similar physical, aggressive mindset, attacking mindset. Which, when you got 2 pit bulls wanting to fight each other, it usually turns out to be a real entertaining fight. But like the great Nick Saban, Hall of Fame college football coach said, there is no great victory unless you overcome adversity. There ain't no great victory unless you overcome adversity. And that's what Ortiz had to, do last night. He had... He had some soul searching in that ring, first time in his career. Remember, I was critical, Joe. I don't know if it was last week, but on one of his shows, I'm like, man, he's never had a tough fight. It's always been easy for him. He's always had that. He was always asking the questions, but he never had to answer no questions. Well, guess what? Last night, he had to answer a lot of questions. Okay, like when he faced adversity. Number 1, how would he react? And number 2, more importantly, how would he respond? Check the boxes. Check the boxes. Okay. If he would keep his his composure and poise under a firefight. Okay, being calm and cool, having the ability to make those adjustments during the fight, be able to use your boxing IQ to adjust to those moments, adjust your strategies, okay, to change the momentum of the fight in your favor. Show me a little. Show me needs more polish, Joe, because this is the first tough fight he ever had in his career. Okay, so he's what you call inexperienced. He needs more tough rounds under his belt for him to grow as a fighter. Okay, you need tough fights like this. Okay, that's why I was kind of like, I always had that thing in the back of my mind. What would happen? You know, he didn't have that. He didn't have those tough fights coming up to prepare him for a moment like this. He had to, what do you call it? Learn on the job. It's called baptism under fire. Okay, last night was his baptism under fire moment. Okay, and I wanted to see, you know, this boxes. I wanted to see him check how he kept his composure and poise in moments of adversity, how he reacted, but more importantly, how he responded to that moment of adversity when he got knocked down. Check the box. Did he have that resilient competitor in him to battle back and overcome? Check the box. Okay. Yeah. Them are the first three things I look at. Okay. If you don't see it in the fighter when they're coming up, man, well, guess what? Last night, you know, all three of those things I was looking for. Check the box, check the box, check the box. Okay. Now I know he has, you know what I mean? He has that mindset, that competitive resilience, that mental intestinal fortitude to battle through those tough times in a fight. So yeah, Ortiz, yeah, he passed all the tests. It was a physical grueling fight. It was real close. Yeah, but
well, I tell you what though, Coach. Yeah, you know,
Joe, listen,
Vergil. Yes, sir.
Joe, listen. It was his ability to, what do you call it, to dig down deep in the fourth quarter, the championship rounds that made the difference in the fight.
Well, I tell you what, it sure did. On all the judges' scorecards, that's what won him the fight. David Sutherland and Steve Weisfeld. Well, both gave him the last 4 rounds, and that was the difference in scoring the fight. Yep. Well, I tell you what, you're right, Coach. Last night, Vergil Ortiz proved that he wasn't Victor Ortiz.
Yeah. Oh man, when he got dropped, boy, he put it into another gear. He put it into
in the 8th round. Yep.
He put it in 6th gear. He put the pedal to the metal, and you could see it in his mentality, and you could see it in his actions. Oh yeah, he buckled down, bit down, and came back like a resilient competitor that he is, and fought back, and he started making the rounds. He started making them fight more competitive, and the momentum started switching to his side. Sergey gave it up, man. He lost the 4th quarter. Okay, in a close competitive fight. Okay, you lose the 4th quarter, you're not going to win the fight. The 4th quarter is the championship rounds, people. Not the NFL, but 4th quarter, I call it the 10th, 11th, and the 12th.
The last
round.
3 rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Coach. If Sergey Bohachuk lost the fight in the 4th quarter, how they say in football, it's a game of inches.
Yeah.
Boy, he lost it by inches. He didn't lose it by much.
No,
to be honest, Coach, I had it scored 6 rounds apiece when they ended the fight, and the difference in the scoring being the knockdowns. But with that said, I knew that the judges at ringside, because Vegas, they never like to score at a 10-9, even if Vergil does more that round and wins the round, with the exception of the 2 points or the knockdown. Because I would have scored that 8th round 10-9. But all 3 judges scored it 10-8. I knew they would in Vegas. So after 8 rounds, I actually had it scored Sergey Bohachuk leading 5 rounds to 3 with 2-point swings in 2 rounds. I thought Vergil had to come up big in the last quarter of the fight, last third of the fight. Boy, and he sure did. But was it enough? Did you have it? How did you score it? I know that it doesn't matter, and all that matters is the way the 3 kings at ringside score it. But how did you see the fight playing out? How did Coach Gogie's scorecard look at the end of the night?
End of the night, man, I pretty much agree with the judges. In a close competitive fight, you don't know who's winning. Which guy had the advantage? It was 50-50. But going down the stretch, you gotta separate the champions from the contenders, the men from the boys. And going down the stretch, Ortiz had a little bit more oomph in this attack. Okay? He emphasized more. He emphasized more more physicality in the attack. Sergey, you can see the momentum was shifting to Ortiz's side, and Sergey, he wasn't surviving, but he had a hard time defending himself against some big shots he was getting hit with, man. But But you know what the key to the fight, what made this fight tough for Ortiz? People don't know that consistent jab of Sergey. He was just he kept executing it with consistency round after round. Ortiz would block a few. 1 second. Ortiz would block a few. You there, Joe? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you just fine.
Okay, sorry about that. Ortiz would block a few. Block a few, parry a few, slip a few, but that thing was consistently coming up all night, and he was getting tagged consistently with him. Okay, when a guy's throwing that jab in your face consistently, one jab, two jabs, okay, you slip it here, you block it, you parry it, okay, but evidently, you keep throwing it, it's going to go through, and that busted up his nose. That's what busted up his face. That was the main weapon that busted up Ortiz. Remember, I will say, Joe, all you people out there listening, the breakdown process, it starts with the jab. You break a guy down slowly, methodically with the jab, okay? You keep hitting the guy consistently with the jab, round after round, with them little bitty 8-ounce gloves. Eventually you keep getting hit, your face is going to start swelling up. Your nose is going to get busted up. Your lips going to get busted up. Your eyes are going to start swelling up. The jab is the number one weapon in the breakdown process. Number two is the body punches, of course. That takes everything out of you. It takes away your legs. Once you lose your legs, you're done. Okay, they say you hit the body, the head will follow. You hit the legs go dead. Then once the legs go dead, pretty much can't do shit. That's where all your leverage comes from. That's where your movement comes from. Okay, you can't execute your game plan. Okay, if you ain't got no legs under you. And number three is good defensive skills. Okay, making the guy miss, making him waste energy and all that. Number three, what do you call it? The 3 points I usually outline, tell the listening audience and how to break down a tough opponent at the elite level. And Bohachuk's jab. Check the fight out again. You people, don't look at the big bombs Bohachuk was landing. Look at the consistent jab he was putting in Ortiz's face. Ortiz had a hard time dealing with that. Yeah.
Yep. He also had a hard time dealing with that pace. He had never had to. Well, look, and once again, it's that Emmanuel Stewart triangle, right? When you combine speed with power, like Vergil Ortiz customarily does, you sacrifice volume. Okay, he was having to make that choice. Am I going to actually have to take some torque off my shots and keep up this pace? Because if this goes a distance, I'm going to be in trouble. If I don't, you saw him make that decision, and then you saw him have that power late in the back quarter of the fight, and it served him well. I thought he adapted, and he overcame brilliantly, just like he stated earlier, Coach.
Yeah, you wanted to see that championship heart in him, that championship mentality, okay? We saw he checked the box. He checked all the boxes last night. One box he didn't check is when you see a fighter that has all these easy knockouts and this and that, okay, you don't know what you have in a fighter. Not only
Berlanga.
Yeah, but skill-wise, you want to see you don't see the real skills in a fighter until he's in a tough fight. You can see he's deficient in a lot of areas he needs to improve on, especially in the inside. When he got hit with that left hook, he stuck his head out there, squared up just like this, and Bohachuk threw that hook, and he put him on his ass. God damn, I thought he got that technique from Alarcon Burchell. How he sticks his face out there. That's what Ortiz did. The dad even said that in the corner. He goes, man, you're just sticking your head out there to get hit. Stuff like that. He needs to polish up his inside game defensively. Okay, getting a better stance. Okay, not letting his head, his weight lean over his lead leg. Okay, when you're like this in the trenches, you square up and you lean over. Your weight's going over your lead leg. You're gonna get hit with uppercuts and hooks all day. You're defenseless. That's one thing. Little things like that. Ortiz needs to improve on. He needs to improve on his defensive skills in the pocket. Okay. he's got to get a better foundation. Okay, he wasn't knocking out these guys easy like the other guys in the past, so he had to really buckle down. You can see he wasn't really steady in the pocket. He was hitting this guy with some beautiful combinations and everything. Okay, but when he couldn't hurt the guy, you know what I mean? Then you started seeing the things he needed to improve on. See, the great Julio Cesar Chavez, when he got in the pocket, he could stay there for 12 rounds and battle you toe to toe, just like he did Edwin Rosario. He got in the trenches with Rosario, a vicious puncher, wore him down round after round after round before he stopped him in the 11th round. Ortiz couldn't do that. He tried to, take out Bohachuk, a tough physical pressure fighter in the trenches. Bohachuk was still there after 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds. So Ortiz had to adjust his strategy, starting getting on the outside, started boxing him more, started working that jab at distance and everything. What I'm trying to say is you're not a great inside fighter unless you can do it, 12 rounds in a fight, stay in the trenches, and work effectively, and, have good defensive skills and combine that with good offensive skills, throwing them short, compact combinations creatively, coming from all angles. See, that's something Ortiz doesn't know how to do. He's just throwing 1 or 2 bombs at a time, and he's putting everything on it. But he's not like Canelo, where Canelo could sit in the pocket, comfortably, hands up, block the punches, good head movement to make you miss, then put his combinations, 3, 4, 5, 6 punch combinations creatively, head, body, head, coming from all angles. Ortiz doesn't know how to do that yet. You watch the fight. He just 1 or 2 punches, because he thinks, he found out last night, them 1 or 2 punches ain't going to be enough to knock out a guy, these elite level fighters like Bohachuk. He's going to have to put them together creatively. All these little things I've seen, Joe, that he needs the dimensions he needs to add to his game to become a more all-around better fighter. Plus, outside, man, he's like this. He tried to use that, that little, that little shoulder roll stance, his lead hand low, and he was throwing that jab, and he was getting caught with right hands after that. Okay, he's got to learn how to, throw the jab. When you keep your lead hand low, that right hand, opponent sees that. He's going to throw that right hand. So you got to have a defense against it. Like Tim Witherspoon used to catch it. Or, a cross block I used to call. I learned from Eddie Futch. Catch that right hand.
Oh, yeah.
That hook comes back. But he's got to learn how to, parry that jab off. Catch that jab of Bohachuk. And that right hand comes when you have your lead hand low, that right hand's going to come. Fighters are going to throw. You got to be able to, roll that shoulder and catch that right hand. And what this is going to be exposed. So you better bring it back real quick to catch his hook. Yeah, he's got to learn all this stuff, man. Just little nuances of the game, more advanced defensive techniques to become an all-around fighter. He's doing all that shit, but he doesn't have the defensive skills to defend himself against some right hands. Yeah, well, you saw that, Joe. He don't even know.
Yep.
He couldn't even, like I said, he was like this, but he was still getting hit with that jab. His hand was right here. It's got to be right here or right here, right in his face. Watch Tim Witherspoon when he fought Larry Holmes. He took away Holmes' jab. Larry Holmes, his jab was one of the best in the world, one of the best in the game. And every time Holmes threw that, that lightning quick jab, that stiff jab, Spoon, Tim, had his right hand right here, always catching it, had it right in front of his face. Yeah. Took away Holmes' jab. That's what made that fight a tough fight, because Holmes couldn't land that jab. When Holmes doesn't land his jab, he becomes less effective. And Spoon took it away by, keeping his hand right here. Watch it. He had his left hand low right here, and he was just pap, pap. Yeah, he couldn't hit it. Holmes tried to throw that right hand. He blocked it. The hook blocked it. That was a beautiful display of defense by Tim Witherspoon. Just using one hand, catching that jab, catching that right, catching that left hook. You motherfuckers out there, this is some world-class shit, okay? This is some shit you bitch-ass motherfuckers don't watch on YouTube. But watch Tim Wilson. That's the shit Ortiz needs to learn. He don't know how to do this stuff. Yeah, it's the shit.
Yeah, you know what? Coach, you could easily see in the first half of the fight, he was consistently trying to step back, getting that trying to get that leverage that he usually enjoys to crack that right hand to get the maximum amount of torque. But Sergey wasn't having any part of it. Kept on closing the distance, covering up. Yep. I was a bit surprised. You know what? And talk about this. I was a bit surprised because you could tell that Vergil wasn't thinking as clearly because fatigue was setting in. He was getting beat up by that jab, and he was having to work at a pace that he wasn't grown accustomed to. And I would have sworn that the Vergil Ortiz that we've seen before would have been able to time and counter that right hand like he usually does, or that jab, that right hand over the jab. But he wasn't thinking, because there are several times when Sergey would pop that jab from mid-range. He wouldn't double it. It was just a single. I would have sworn that Vergil would have been able to counter over top of that. But what happens when you're having to work at that pace and you can't think, Coach?
Well, he was in a fight. He never been in a fight before. He was beautiful. What'd you tell me, Joe? His last 2 fights, 1-round knockouts? Fuck out of here, man. He wasn't in fights. He was just in one-man sparring exhibitions. This was a fight. We had to learn last night what he was about, and because he was in a fight, I found out his deficiencies. What his deficiencies are in him as a fighter. Yeah, but you got to give Manny Robles. Manny had him in great shape.
Excellent coach. Yep.
Had him in great shape, and that jab was consistent all night, just punishing Ortiz. Like I said, Ortiz blocked a few, parried a few, slipped a few, but it was so consistent. He kept throwing it. It was going through, and that's what busted up Ortiz's nose, his face, his eyes. Yeah, it was that jab. But anyway, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, excellent fight. It lived up to the billing and then more. I tell you what, guys, what a great, great exhibition. War of attrition, heart and toughness. We saw it all. Both men. Like, as we were complaining last weekend after the Riyadh season card in LA, we were like, you know what? When are we ever going to see guys let their balls hang in the ring again? And we just saw it last night. What a beautiful, beautiful exhibition of heart, toughness, physically and emotionally. Everything that we look for in these prize fights. This is why we watch, guys. We were treated to a great fight.
Customato. Mike Tyson's trainer once said, the will to win has to be greater than the skill to win. The will to win has to be greater than the skill to win. And
there Ortiz, it is.
Yesterday, you've seen it. That will to win, that resilient competitor in him.
Yep, and he had the wherewithal after that knockdown in the 8th. He goes, oh, no, this is the second knockdown now. I better get my engine revving. I tell you what, it looked like he wanted to get that point back, the back half of the round.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he put it on Sergey Bohachuk.
And that's where that's where he let this fight go. After he knocked him down, the momentum was on his side. He let Vergil steal the momentum back to his side. See, Joe, this is a game of momentum, man. You try to limit the amount of momentum your opponent has, and you try to keep the momentum on your side, and that's usually going to win you the fight. Sergey, he failed to do that the last 2 rounds. Yeah,
that's what lost Tyson Fury the fight against Usyk.
He let it slip through the cracks. But anyway, it was a good fight. Warrants a rematch. And I don't know what's going on. I'm not Turkey. I'm not Oscar.
Well, we're going to talk about it right after this. That's $1 million question and the main event of the entire show. We'll get Coach's thoughts and we'll talk all about it. But I tell you what, right now, Turkey Al-Sheikh is wishing that he had put this fight on Riyadh season last Saturday.
Yeah,
there it is. Guys, we're going to talk to our dear friends in the chat. Our first one in the queue, saludos. Jesus M. Thank you for praying with me last night, man. God bless you, brother. And he says, Coach, Vergil has a lot of work to do to improve, like defense, better patience, more jabs, less arm punches, change of speed, stop loading up so much, and head hunting less.
All this stuff,
Yep.
man. I just talked about. There's more dimensions to his game he needs to add. Well, guess what? Fighting a tough fight like this and going the rounds. Okay, now if their team's smart, they go, okay, we're gonna have to work on this. We're gonna have to work on this, stuff like that. But you need to go through a tough fight to grow. Okay, once you learn the mistakes you made in a tough fight, okay, you correct them. You develop more dimensions to your game, then you grow. But this fight right here, you can't learn. Vergil couldn't grow if he didn't go through it. He couldn't, you can't obtain gain without going through some pain. Yeah.
And there it is, brother. I tell you what, we're going to speak to and thank you for supporting the coach on this day, my brother Sid UK. He says Vergil was 26, so if he ain't got no man strength now, then maybe he ain't a man. This is boxing and a big payday. Yep, that protecting the O and ducking stuff is lame. Losses are a lesson. Just look at Canelo. Yep.
He's got man strength, but there's some guys you just can't knock out. You get to this level, they're hard to knock out, and they're hard to knock out, and the knockouts are rare unless you're Inoue. You know what I mean? Or you're on, or you're on that shit. Okay. Yeah.
Also, coach, Sergey Bohachuk in his last fight beat the living hell out of Brian Mendoza to capture the interim WBC title at 54. How much does your confidence increase when you put that strap around your waist?
Man, you forget about that knockout loss he had against that Brian Adams. Oh, he looked just terrible. He improved a lot. Okay, from that knockout loss, he's gotten better. I noticed that. I haven't seen this. I didn't even see that Mendoza fight or whatever. But I just kept on remembering in my mind the Adams fight. This fucking guy got defense like Alacron Vergil. He gets hit with everything, but he improved his defense. Manny had that really high guard type defense, and he was disciplined most of the night to keep his hands out and not drop it. Okay, like in the Adams fight. Manny had him work that jab consistently.
Yep. I'll tell you what, those guys are in great shape too.
I didn't see that in the other fights, but when I saw him, but I see it in the last fight. To me, that was the difference. That jab in Ortiz's face was a punch that was doing most of the damage. Like I tell you people out there, you motherfuckers listening in, the jab is boxing's number one weapon. Bohachuk, shit, he don't have all that flashy athletic talent like Roy Jones Jr. or Floyd Mayweather. He just executed fake basic fundamentals, and it started with the jab consistently, snapping it, double, triple, or one jab at it, consistently in Ortiz's face. Ortiz might be able to slip one, he might be able to parry one, but he ain't gonna be able to avoid it all the time. And once you start getting hit with them little bitty gloves, the fight starts changing. You start breaking down. Your face does. Oh, the fighter can feel it in his face, but he can feel the pain. Yeah, it's not a good feeling. That's why I always said the jab is the number one weapon when you're breaking down an opponent. Yeah.
There it is, Sid. Thank you, my brother, for being a great boxing fan and being a good man on top of that and supporting the coach, my brother. We really appreciate you being here. Also, my brother here to there, thank you for joining me last night, my friend. Boy, excellent time had by all watching both fights and calling the fights with me. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it, brother. And thank you for supporting the coach. And G Funky Boxing.
What up, G? He
guys,
just had
if you haven't
COVID.
already. No?
Yeah, he just had COVID. So, hopefully he's doing better.
Yep, there it is, guys. And once again, prayers to you and your entire family. Thank you for joining us, G Funky. This is fun. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to our brother G Funky. And he goes, yeah, you know what? Lopez should have taken that left at Albuquerque. Nah, this time he should have taken that right at La Jolla. Oh, Chingao. We're going to talk about that in just a second, G. Thank you for joining us and supporting the coach. Also, my brother, Alberto. Salute Joe and Coach Gogi, the upper echelon in boxing right here. Blessings to both of you. Blessings to you, my friend. And thank you for sharing that special prayer with us last night, man. God is great. Yes, he is. 93. Thank you for supporting the coach and coming back. Thank you watching the fights with us, man. And thank you for all your commentary during the fight as well, brother. Made it much more enjoyable. He said, Vergil's headbutting game is Victor Ortiz level. Interesting how both share the Ortiz last name. Well, I tell you what.
He leads with his head like this inside.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to get hit. I always tell my fighters, when I watch tape of a guy, hey, you're going to get, be careful when he gets inside. You're going to get hit with the headbutt because he likes to lean with his head like this. What's his 93 octane? You know what I told my fighters to do when that fight starts coming in, starts closing the distance and starts becoming in that, in that phone booth, and he starts leading with his head like that. Here's a way you avoid getting headbutted. Put that thumb right in his fucking face. Once he starts going like this, just boom. Hey, and you put a couple forearms right in his face, I guarantee you he's gonna think about going like this again, trying to come at you, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
That Miguel Cotto forearm, brother.
Or you can do it like this. Guy comes at you, lean back, take your hand and just pull his head down. Yeah, there's different ways. Me, I like pushing it right in his fucking head. Or when I see the head coming, lean back, just make the head, take your hand on top of, on the back of his head and push it down and put your weight down like that. Yeah, there's different ways. It's a pro boxing. Okay, you got to develop defense against headbutts. That's a couple of ways I like to do it. You know what I mean?
There it is. Heard it from the master. Here to there also says, Vergil's a dog and Sergey is a bad man. Both stamp themselves as proper world-class fighters. Yes, sir. And you know what? That's what we want to see. We want to see guys take calculated risks, let it hang out in the ring. And you know what? We hope that both men are successful in the evening. We understand that someone has to win, someone has to lose. But I think that mission accomplished. Both men had a very successful night last night. And to be honest, I can't wait to see either guy in the ring. Now, in a perfect world, we would love to see a rematch. But, Coach, at the 32 mark of the show, from what I'm hearing, they're already starting to make Terence Crawford versus Vergil Ortiz Jr. for later this year as part of the next Riyadh season event. Do you think that this fight should be made, or do you think that Sergey Bohachuk deserves the rematch?
Fuck, I think this fight warrants a rematch. It was such a great fight. And the rematch ain't going to be no different because styles make fights. Certain styles make great fights. Wardy Gad. That was
Gaddy Ward,
Gaddy Ward. Wardy Gad. Wardy Gad.
Gaddy Ward.
Gaddy Ward, yeah. Anyway, certain styles make fights, and they have both guys have perfect styles to mesh to make great fights. But, guess what, Joe? I ain't the one with the motherfucking bottomless checkbook. It's Turkey. So he dictate who the fuck he wants to fight. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, I will say this.
Go ahead.
Well, I will say this, guys, and the reason for this is, and once again, their guy, they've already made it known, their guy, MTK Global, Riyadh season, their guy is Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
And this style matchup is going to bring out the best in Terence Crawford. Vergil Ortiz. Now, if you are Robert Garcia and if you're Oscar De La Hoya, do you want this fight for Vergil Ortiz Jr. right after this war?
And they're putting him to the meat grind. He ain't ready for Crawford, man. You can see, man, there's a lot of dimensions in this game he's missing. You're going against a seasoned vet, a seasoned pound-for-pound champ like Crawford, all around, well-skilled. Man, this guy needs a lot more development, man. Okay, he needs more rounds under his belt to add, to polish his game. He needs to add more dimensions in the gym and everything, man. You think Sergey's jab was effective? You wait till Ortiz. You think Sergey's jab is effective? You wait till Crawford starts working that jab on Ortiz.
You know what, Coach? Are they pulling? Is Oscar De La Hoya possibly just looking at those big dollars from Turkey El Sheikh? And are they running the risk of turning him into the next Fernando Vargas, putting him in the meat grinder way too soon at an early age.
But Joe, whatever, man, Turkey's he's gonna have to come up with a lot of money because Crawford's gonna want a lot, and if this guy, he's gonna want a lot. And Joe, honestly, Joe, you're in this business to get those kind of paydays. Them paydays are rare. When the opportunities are there to get those paydays, you jump on it.
That's it. I'll tell you what, though, Coach. If you were training Vergil Ortiz Jr., what would you work on in preparation for the best pound-for-pound fighter in boxing, Terence "Bud" Crawford?
Defense. Defend against that jab. Because if you don't defend against that jab, it's going to be a long night. That'd be the number one thing is defense. Yeah. And, he's going to have to, work on applying intelligent pressure without taking a lot of incoming, cutting off the ring, eliminating those escape routes Crawford likes to use, pivoting around you and all that shit. What else? And sharp counters. Be ready for them sharp counters. Don't make the mistake in keeping your head out there long. Crawford's gonna eat it up. Crawford will see this shit. When you put your head out there and you're a defenseless target, the quick sharp counters, stuff like that. Main thing is defense. If he doesn't improve his defense, or if he doesn't have the defense to defend against Crawford's offensive arsenal, it ain't gonna be much of a fight. Crawford's gonna.
Well, I will say this though,
pick him apart.
He doesn't fight like Sergey Bohachuk, and he's not going to be putting that constant pressure. Vergil Ortiz at mid-range, if you go watch tape, and I know you have, he's got that beautiful, sneaky, lightning-fast right hand. So if you're Crawford, do you want to fight him as a southpaw or an orthodox?
Whatever. Crawford will figure that out when he's in the ring. He's a chameleon. He's ambidextrous. He's a world's best switch hitter. Okay. He'll figure that out in the ring, man. You know what I mean? Hey, okay. Fighting southpaw is not. I ain't feeling it. Okay, I'm not. That's the thing about Crawford. He has the ability to switch it, to go both ways at a high level, equal skill level. He doesn't miss a beat. Why? Because his jab is just effective from the southpaw position and the right-handed position. Okay, that jab doesn't miss a beat. Okay, that's why he's the number one. That's the number one reason why he's the best switch hitter in boxing. His ability to switch stances, but his jab, his skill level doesn't erode, and his jab stays the same. So basically, Crawford, he's the kind of guy. Okay, he's fighting from the southpaw position. Ortiz is giving him a hard time, man. He can't get off effectively. He can't establish no offensive attack, gain any momentum to control Ortiz. So what does he do? He switches over. He'll switch over to right-handed, to the right-handed stance, okay, to establish, number one, the jab, to see if he has better success in changing the momentum of the fight, making those adjustments he needs to, put a halt to Ortiz's momentum. That's one thing about Crawford. He's a real cerebral, a chameleon, ambidextrous, high skill level from each stance. His jab doesn't miss a beat. High boxing IQ. He's developed into an all-around fighter. Now in the pocket, he could hold his own. He could throw them short punches in the pocket. The short compact punches, the short hooks, the uppercuts, the short sweeping left hooks, the body shots he could deal. He could dig in. You know what I mean? All that stuff. He's gotten better. He's developed that over the years and everything. But his game is on the outside. That jab, this, the counter punching when you don't expect it. Oh, they're lightning quick. Ortiz is in trouble, baby. He's in trouble.
Oh, geez.
But he'll get a payday.
Yep, a big one. It better be a big one because he's. Yep.
I bet you he'll get more than 10 million. I would.
Oh, Chingao. Well, I don't know, Coach, because this last pay-per-view for Riyadh season was a massive flop. You and I called it last week.
Fucking You think Turkey gives a shit about losing money? Right now he does. He doesn't give a shit, but he
Oh,
will.
gee. Well, tell you what, he needs something that's going to sizzle on the big stage. And
That
this is the matchup that's going to deliver. I can't look,
Well,
Coach. Can you see this matchup not delivering on the big stage?
where would this fight be at? Will it be? Now, it won't be in Dallas. It'll probably be in Vegas. Let's try to make it a Vegas type fight. Will this fight deliver? Man,
No. You know what? You had a good idea. Honestly, I think you put this fight in the home of Jerry and the Dallas Cowboys.
yeah,
Because
but
Vergil is from that area. And once again, Terence Crawford.
He's going to call the shots. He's going to have the fight where
Terence
he wants
Crawford
it.
is. Yep.
Joe, he's going to have the fight where he wants it.
That's a perfect place.
Joe, he's going to have the fight where he wants it. He's going to have the fight where he wants it.
Turkey or Terence?
Terence, he's going to call the shots. He's going to have the fight where he wants to. And he ain't going to want to give a guy, his opponent, a home field advantage like Angelo Leo did last night with Lopez. Nah, man, he's gonna call the shots. This is a Vegas fight. You'll have one of them Vegas casinos put up some money, or you know what I mean. It's a Vegas type fight.
Hey, put it in Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas.
I don't know if it's big enough to generate that kind of interest, but at the T-Mobile Center, yeah, that fight. Now, will Vergil Ortiz become? Is he ready for that type of fight? That's a different whole subject.
Well, ready or not, it's coming. It's coming. They've already started working on agreeing to that fight, and they're already starting the paperwork, brother.
Get that money, baby.
Negotiations. Yep.
Guys, get that checkbook ready, baby.
Expect the announcement in about a month and a half. Yeah, they're already working on it, guys. It's going to be
a month and a half. You better do it sooner than that because, hey, this year is coming to a close, baby. If they're going to have that fight in November, okay, you figure they better get the negotiations done the next couple of weeks. Ain't got time for a couple of months. You know what I mean? It's got to be, I figure within the next 2 weeks, man, because him and Oscar already agreed to it. Once you come to an agreement and Crawford's people come to agreement and Crawford, they saw that fight. They go, man, this boy, I like him better than Canelo. He's our weight. His defense isn't too good at this level. He'll be easier to hit. He'll be easier to hit than a guy like Canelo. And when we hit this guy, he'll be able to feel our punches. Canelo, if we hit him, all that extra weight he has on him, he's going to absorb those punches like a sponge absorbing water. This fight right here, if I know Bomac and his crew, they like this fight better because it's going to be the same pay. It's going to be a great payday. To me, a safer fight against a guy inexperienced and compared to a guy like Canelo, who's real experienced. Oh, I take this fight in a heartbeat. Joe, it's already been agreed upon by Golden Boy.
Yep, coach.
From what I'm hearing. But Joe, listen. It's already been about, and when you got one party agree to it, Crawford's people are probably going to come aboard. Then the negotiation, the little details in the contract, they ain't going to take number 2 weeks. Then they'll make an announcement. Yeah.
Coach, can you say William Zepeda versus Shakur Stevenson in the co-main event?
Yeah, that's what makes it intriguing too. Another great fight like that, and they're going to pay Zepeda a good, he'll get a career high payday, and Shakur will get his career high payday. You know what I mean?
And there it is, guys. Sign it up. Look for this. Look for it. Look for the announcement by the end of the month. Latest first week of September. First week of September.
Yeah, but Crawford's going to determine where this fight's at. He did great last time with Spence in Vegas. They'll probably have it at the T-Mobile Arena. Yeah, and they'll do good.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And they'll lose a lot of money, but it'll be a great atmosphere.
Coach, 70,000 for Riyadh season in LA with Eminem, with all of that overhead.
Yeah, 70,000 pay-per-views, we're hearing. But you know what, Joe? That ain't my problem. Fuck, I just want to see a good fight. I don't give a fuck. If they lose money, it ain't my problem. I just want to see a good fight. You know what I mean?
Well, I tell you what, we'll see what happens, but let's look at Sergey Bohachuk. Where does he go from here without that title? Without being a big ticket seller? I know he increased his market value after that showing last night, and that's how it's done if you're not a ticket seller. In my opinion, I think PBC is going to be very interested in making Fundora versus Bohachuk. Who wins and why, sir?
Yeah, that's another great fight. You got two guys that are physically assertive. You know what I mean? But what's his name is down there 6'5", man. What's that guy's name? Fundora. His last fight, he finally used some fucking intelligence. He used that long range pawing jab to keep his opponent at range so he couldn't get close. It was Tim Tszyu. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and he made the fight so much easier. And a guy like Bohachuk, it's easy pickings for a Fundora. He'll just kick back, paw that jab at his face so what's his name doesn't get close and hit Bohachuk at long range, okay, without having to without having the fight go into close quarters where the factors change. Now, once you get right here, it don't matter. You can be hit, okay, because you're right in range. But if you keep it at range with that southpaw stance of Fundora, keep touching them, just keep them at range and pick them apart with straight left hands, left uppercuts, the right hooks. It's going to be hard for Bohachuk to deal with. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, let's switch gears and put our business caps on, Coach, because Turki Al-Sheikh stated through various media members yesterday, talking about Canelo, talking about Tim Tszyu, saying, you know what? They don't get it. If they want to wear, almost like adopting the ideology of Hall of Fame promoter, the late, great Eileen Eaton, who said once very famously with Don Chargan, if they don't want to fight with us, we don't want to fight with them. We don't want to work with them. Turki Al-Sheikh seems to be adopting that ideology. Is that good for the sport? And why do you think this is happening with Canelo and Tim Tszyu?
Shit, I don't know. Maybe
because they're ticket sellers? They don't need him?
Man, Turki comes on the scene, man. He wants to control everything, man. I got the money. I call the shots. And when Tszyu and Canelo don't want to play to his rules, you kind of he got what do you call it? His ego got hurt a little bit. Okay. So. Yeah. But that ain't my problem. Man. Let them deal with it, man. I just want to see good fights. Turki, just keep putting up these great fights and, putting up the big money. As far as losing money, that ain't my problem, brother. That's yours.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, guys. Canelo at 68. He's not going to be fighting Benavidez. There's a big fight on the horizon this Saturday. It's going to be on ESPN, guys, and ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
And that's a potential opponent for Canelo, or is it? Now, once he makes light work of Berlanga, what are his options at 68? He's going to be looking very closely at this fight on Saturday. Guys, it's going to be Christian Mbili versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. Coach, can you say another fight of the year candidate?
Joe, boxing fans know what makes a good fight. Certain styles mesh. Guys with two physical, aggressive mindsets and two physical, aggressive styles. That pit bull mentality. They have no fear. They just want to go there and mix it up. This has the potential to be a very entertaining scrap. Yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very entertaining. Because that Mbili, boy, he comes at you, baby. He don't want to go the distance. He don't want to go the distance. He wants a knockout. And when he's in there, he attacks you. And every punch he throws has bad intentions, has hurt written on it. Yeah, that Mbili, he's a handful. He's a handful. Yeah, that fight with it comes down to the point, man. Will that fight sell? With Canelo? Canelo needs a guy like Benavidez. Everybody's been buzzing about that. His name's out there to do good at the pay-per-view level. And Mbili, who the fuck knows that motherfucker? Yeah.
So that's my point, guys. It's like there aren't big attractions at 68 right now. The biggest other attraction outside of Canelo Alvarez just moved up to 75.
Yeah.
And once again, he's already accepted the fact that, look, Canelo's never going to fight me. So what's Canelo's future look like at 68? Should he be dismissing Turkey Al-Sheikh at this time? That's my point. I don't know where he goes after the Berlanga fight, Coach.
You know what, Joe? It's not my problem. It's fucking Canelo's problem. Let him figure it out. Shit.
There it is. There it is, guys. I'll tell you.
I just want to see good fights.
Chingo.
Look, Joe, I'm in the business. I'm in the media. You know, you say I'm a coach, but I'm also on the media now part. You know, all I want to see is a good fucking fight. I don't give a fuck, you know, what's his future, you know, if he has problems finding opponents. Shit. Just put me a good fight on the table I like. Then, you know, something good to get the fans excited about. I could talk about it with enthusiasm to get the people out there interested. Yeah. But as far as what's his future and who's he gonna fight and this, shit, fucking, you think I fucking care? Shit, you know what I mean? That's his problem, not mine. Nothing against you, Canelo. You know, but you know, I'm a media guy. You know, media guys, they want great fights to talk about. They want great fights to build up. They want great fights. I could get the fans excited about, like last night. You know. You fighting Berlanga.
I'll tell you what. Thank you for joining us once again, T. Sanders. We appreciate you being there, brother, last night and tonight. Thank you for supporting the coach. Also,
T. Sanders.
BoxMex. Yep. Also,
Vergil was like this on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He was like this on the inside. He wasn't executing the fundamentals, meaning it starts with your stance. You got to have a good fundamental stance when you're on the inside against a physically strong, imposing fighter like Sergey. What's that guy's name, Joe? Sergey
Bohachuk.
Yeah, I forgot that motherfucker. Yeah, you got to have when you're fighting a physically imposing guy that tries to impose his will on you. Your fundamentals got to be good on in the inside. Now I'm talking about technique and skill, T. Sanders. You got to have a nice fundamental stance, meaning your legs got to be set good. They got to be planted good, where he can't push you back. You got to have that shoulder pointed inside, okay? Not square up like this, where you're a live target for uppercuts, body shots, head shots. You got to have that shoulder pointed, hands up, hands up nice and tight, covering your face, placed on your face correctly to block those shots, to block those uppercuts. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But it starts with the stance. His fundamental stance was, at times in the fight, was terrible. He got inside, he started leaning in like this, and that's how he got hit by that hook. He went like this. He tried to throw a hook. He was going to throw a hook, but Bohachuk beat him to the punch and put him on his ass. But his fundamentals, when I'm teaching a guy to fight inside, I don't want all his weight on the front foot. When he starts putting all his weight on the front foot, he starts leaning forward. His head starts, going over his knee. Once you start doing that, okay, your head starts going, you start leaning forward, your head starts going over your front, your left knee. Guess what? You're off balance. Your weight ain't centered. Okay, if your weight ain't centered, your balance is gone. Once you lose your balance, you lose your leverage. Okay, and when you start fighting in your front foot and your weight is coming forward, you're going to get hit with uppercuts or hooks all night. You're going to get hit. So fundamentally, number one, when you're fighting technique, I'm talking about technique and skill. You got to have a good fundamental stance inside. You got to set your feet good. You got to have that back leg anchored where you can't push it back. Okay. And you can't be jittery and having your feet move all around, because you're going to be, Sergey's going to have that ability to push you back. You got to be firm and entrenched in the phone booth, just like an offensive lineman. You see him battling them big defensive tackles that are trying to get to the quarterback. They got to stay low. They got to set themselves. Okay. They got to have the correct stance. They got to execute the right techniques, or they're going to get pushed back. And that defensive tackle is going to blast that quarterback. Then they're going to be on. Then they're going to be on the wave. You know, then they're going to be on the soup line. You're looking for a job. But the thing is, the fundamentals. You got to execute the fundamentals. You got to have the discipline to execute the fundamentals of entrenched warfare, and it starts with a proper fundamental stance. Because during the fight, you know, you lose. A lot of fighters lose discipline, like Ortiz last night. And once he got inside, he started squaring up. He started leaning forward. His head started coming over his front foot, his front knee. Well, guess what? You're open for uppercuts. You're open for hooks. And what dropped him was that motherfucking hook. Just look at the fight. When he got dropped by the hook, he was like this. His weight was. Yep. He stuck his head out there like he was a la Vergil, you know. But it's all about executing the fundamentals. The technique, and it starts with a good fundamental stance on the inside. Okay, but anyway, that's what I see. A lot of motherfuckers don't see this shit, but I'm a coach. I can see all that stuff, and I'm like, okay, he's deficient in this area. He needs to improve. His stance is not fundamentally sound. He needs to improve that. Okay, that's the first thing I would work on. Yeah, is to have a more fundamental sound stance where he has that balance and leverage he needs to fight in the pocket. Because without balance and leverage, you can't fight in the pocket. You can't throw leverage on your body shots, the short, compact punches. And most important, if you ain't got no leverage or balance in the pocket, you can't defend yourself against those punches. Yeah. But anyway, little lesson to you motherfuckers out there and about my philosophy in trench warfare. It's a lost art nowadays, baby. Okay, they don't teach this shit I teach. It's a lost art nowadays, man. You know, nowadays motherfuckers get inside. They're just trying to push each other and wrestle each other. You know, they think they're fucking in the fucking NFL. You know, trying to win the win the offensive line contest, trying to push your defensive lineman out of the way. It's not a pushing contest in the pocket. Okay. It's not, you know what I mean? I see that shit all the time. Two guys get in the pocket and they try to push, waste fucking energy. Why? You don't need to push and wrestle with a motherfucker. That's wasted energy. Are you
referring to Leo versus Lopez? Because I saw a lot of that last night.
Look, Joe, when you do that, you waste energy. Let the other motherfucker do that. Let the other guy push on you, push on you, try to wrestle you and all that. Let him waste the energy. You just stay in the pocket, good fundamentals, calm and cool, and execute your game plan, your offensive attack, short, sharp, compact combinations, okay? But don't try to push in contests. Just get in the pocket. Now, there's motherfuckers out there, T. Sanders, that, man, you get in the pocket. Oh, shit, this bitch is strong. You can't push him back. You can feel his physical strength. So that's when this is when the finesse game comes in. You start hitting them at angles. Ortiz didn't do that last night. That's another dimension he needs to add to his game. He was too busy trying to push the motherfucker where he could have just stepped at angles and caught him with shots. Stepped at angles, caught him with shots. Okay? You know, pivot, boom, shots. Pivot at this angle, hit him here. Okay? This is another dimension he needs to add to his game, a.k.a. Orlando Canizales. Canizales was a master at angles. When he got right here, you know he's going to pivot this way or he's going to pivot this way and hit you. That's
Mexican Lomachenko, coach.
That's how you take away a guy's physicality in the inside. You don't need to push him and get in a wrestling contest with him. You know, you start attacking him at angles. You know, you feel some motherfuckers, T. Sanders, oh my God, you're like, this bitch is hard to move. And when he hits you, you're like, yeah. So what you do, that's when you start thinking. The finesse game comes into play. You start working angles like James Toney did against Iran Barkley. You know, Barkley, a bull, physical, you know, came in there, just swirling away. Toney was just kept his cool, rolling with the punches, and used his footwork to sidestep at angles and catch Barkley with uppercuts, straight right hands. Then he pivoted around him. Okay? See, that's another thing Ortiz needs to learn. He needs to learn not only stepping at a sidestep and working at angles, but pivot around your opponent. Okay, like Tony, you know, just step around him. Eddie Futch,
Bam Rodriguez.
Eddie Futch, the great Eddie Futch once told me, a bull can't fight in circles.
Yep.
Keep turning him, just like Meldrick Taylor. He used to do when George Benton was training him. George Benton believed that hey man, fucking trying to, wrestle and get in a pushing contest with a guy. Circle around him in small circles. A bull can't fight in circles. You can't, if you can't pivot around him, circle around him. Just boom, just scoot around him, skip around him. You know what I mean? Stuff like that he needs to learn, because he's using too much of a physical attack. He needs to add more finesse dimensions to his game. I'm giving you a motherfucking world-class lesson, T. Sanders. I hope you're motherfucking taking notes. You know what I mean? I hope you're taking notes. Yeah.
And there it is. Great stuff, Coach. I tell you what, we've got a lot of ground to cover still.
Hey, T. T. Sanders, where are you from? You sound like you're from Baltimore or Philly.
Yeah. Coach likes to know where everyone is from. And Pranay, it's good to see you here, brother. Thank you for supporting the coach. He says, Coach, I've done some tape study on Berlanga, and oh my goodness, I don't know how he's even going to be competitive with Canelo. Forget Canelo, he's a level or two below Munguia, who Canelo handled comfortably. Coach, anything to add on that?
Pretty much 100% accurate assessment. Berlanga ain't shit. He talks a good game now. He's selling the fight. He's creating some excitement. But
oh boy, I tell you what,
once you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. Huh?
Well, brother, the only walk he's going to be walking is shame. Shame back to the locker room after he gets knocked out within 3 rounds. Oh boy, it's going to be bad. That dude is about as sharp as a marble.
Oh, wait till Canelo gets in the trenches. You're going to see him lost. He's going to be lost. Canelo's going to pick him apart when he gets in the trenches.
Oh my gosh.
He has no inside game, this Berlanga. Canelo is going to have a field day. Once he gets that distance where he wants, it's going to be lights out for Edgar Berlanga.
Yep. And that's it. Open and shut, guys. Adam Hurley, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Crawford and Vergil, in my mind, is a 50-50 fight. But I do have Crawford. Coach, the styles make fights, obviously, but can you see Vergil hanging with Crawford, making it a 50-50 fight? Having his moments.
Only way Vergil's going to beat Crawford is if he knocks him out. When this fight ends up being a skill for skill battle. You're going to tell me one guy has a full arsenal of weapons, the other guy, Ortiz, his arsenal's half filled? Come on, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's only one way to find out, guys, and we're going to find out later this year.
You'll get a good payday, though, Ortiz. Motherfucker, man. Yeah. This is why you're in boxing, to get paydays like that. Fuck it. I'd take a chance. Fuck yeah.
93 Octane also says Manny Robles does deserve much respect. Had Bohachuk well prepared. Yes, he did.
Manny, excellent job, Manny. You did a great job of preparation. He did better than I expected. Yeah.
Oren Beaton, thank you for supporting the coach and welcome to the show, sir. He says, yep, last night's fight was a robbery. Facts. Look.
Warren,
go ahead, sir.
That's why I want to see a rematch. Okay, a lot of people are saying it was a robbery. Okay, let's get the fucking rematch. But maybe that's down the road, man. But I would love the rematch now. But financially, Crawford, that's a lot of money to say no to. Fuck.
Yep. There it is. Thank you for your comments, Oren. We appreciate you being here supporting the coach. Jose Garcia, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Vergil was better. Bo was just too big and strong. Okay. Joe said it true. I'll be the devil's advocate. Wow, poor choice of words, sir, on my show. I think Vergil is a more talented and more versatile fighter. He will give Crawford a tougher fight than Bohachuk. Styles make fights. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, he is. But Crawford's skill level, the way he executes his game plan, it's on a different level, man. His jab is better. His counter punching's better. His footwork's better. His boxing IQ's better. And he's got that experience under his belt. Vergil, this is Vergil's first fight. Real fight. Okay, I'm not talking about other quick knockouts and everything. You don't learn shit like that. Fighting all them guys, he's knocking guys out this and there. He needed a fight like this to grow, but he still needs more tough rounds under his belt to grow as a fighter. There's a lot of dimensions to his game. There's a lot of dimensions to his game he needs to add, polish up on.
Yep, indeed. G-Funky, always a voice of reason, says, Oren, close fights aren't robberies. Now, guys, once again, I said I thought Bohachuk deserved the nod last night, but I never said it was a robbery. Guys, G-Funky has the beat. There were so many swing rounds in that fight. I counted at least 3. It could have gone either way, okay? I had no problem with the judge's verdict. I just thought Bohachuk deserved the nod. Obviously, so did he. So did Tom Loeffler. And so did a lot of people. And I tell you what, round 1, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. I'll tell you what, here it is. Low clarity. Welcome to the show, sir. Bugs on the windshield. Yep. Tell you what, let's use low clarities. Leo beat that out as well.
Who's Leo? Oh, Leo.
Angelo Leo. Yep. I tell you what, let's segue into that, coach, because there was a great main event on ESPN. You called it. You said it was going to be an exciting fight of the year candidate. Maybe not that, but it was definitely knockout of the year candidate. Holy cow, in front of his home fans from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Angelo Leo comes up big, winning the IBF Featherweight Championship by the way we like it, clean knockout. There was no question about that. No mention of robbery, none of that. Coach, what was the difference in this fight?
Hey, number 1, Leo fighting in his backyard. Okay, when I always say, when you have that home field advantage, the fans get behind you, or you're going to fight so much harder. I told you that story last week, Joe. Jesse Reed. I was talking to Jesse Reed. He had his champion, the great Orlando Canizales. They went to England to fight Bill Hardy, and Jesse goes, "This is going to be an easy fight, Orlando. Don't even worry about it." After the fight, Orlando goes, "Jesse, this was no easy fight." And Jesse goes, he underestimated how hard Hardy would fight in front of his hometown, how much harder he fought. And that's what gave Canizales the disadvantage going into somebody's backyard. The same thing with Lopez, when he went into Leo's backyard. You know, you got that hometown behind you, you're going to fight that much harder. Plus, Leo trained in Albuquerque, high altitude. He was acclimated to it. Lopez trained in Vegas, and he wasn't acclimated to the high altitude. And you could see he got fatigued as the fight went on. And when he got hit, he didn't take it so good. So, you know, a combination of all those things and everything. It wasn't nothing special that Leo did. He just, you know, you see that shit in the gym. He threw a jab, he blocked it, then he countered with a left hook right afterwards. What's his name didn't react to it. To slip it, to roll under it. Fatigue usually does that, Joe. You know, when you start getting fatigued, your reflexes slow down. Anyway, and you don't take a punch is good. So, but good for Leo. When we talked about the fight last week, I said it would be a good fight, a great style matchup on paper, but like Don Chargan used to say, great style matchup on paper isn't complete until you have it in the right location. Leo fighting in Leo's backyard, Albuquerque, a boxing hungry fight town. You know, great champions, Mi Vida Loca, Johnny Tapia, Danny Romero. Yeah, set the tone. Okay, set the tradition, the standard. And Leo's just walking in their footpath. So yeah, congratulations for him. Now he's the IBF champion for not that long. You know, if they put him over BC Ramirez, forget about it.
Yep. I tell you what, 30 is or 26. Yeah, it's a good looking division. Honestly, who's the kid who just won the title from Raymond Ford?
Nick Ball. the WBC
I'd love
champion.
to see that one, Coach.
Joe, he's got, I'm pretty sure Top Rank just give him this motherfucking opportunity. I know he's with Pro Box. They probably got options. So they're probably going to say, okay, here's Robesi Ramirez. We gave this motherfucker his tune-up to come back. Now you're going to have to fight him for the title. Bring it to Albuquerque. That fight will do good. Yes. Bring it to Albuquerque.
There it is.
Yeah.
James Gogi, the promoter and matchmaker. There it is. I'll tell you what, Boxing Source. James, good to see you, brother. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to my brother, the Boxing Source, James Bell. Also, my brother, Peter Von Arx, thank you for supporting the coach on this day. Good to see you, my friend. 93, also a gentleman who came up big on the Golden Boy car, Charles Conwell, getting the big knockout in 2. What's next for Charles Conwell, and is he become the boogeyman at 54, sir?
I thought he fights at 60. Was he 54 or 60?
Is he fight at 60 now?
I don't know, Joe. He hadn't fought in a while. I don't know what, I don't know what. I know he was with DeBella. Of course, him and Lou DeBella had a falling out, so he had to wait for his contract to expire. Now he's with Golden Boy. I think, me, honestly, Joe, that was an easy fight. He needs some more fights under his belt, to get that rust off, so he could position him for a big fight. 54, Conwell, I always liked him from the Olympics. He has that a physical, aggressive style. And, he mixes up his combinations to the head, body, head, and he has good leverage and pop on his punches. So, yeah, I like to see him fight, get some more rounds under his belt first. Same as that Kenneth Sims, who just signed with Golden Boy. He needs to
look great against Jonathan Romero. Yep.
Well, fuck. That dude came for a fucking payday. You think he came there to win?
No.
So anybody that comes for a payday, you're going to look good against, all right? So.
Yep, it was supposed to be my guy, Kendo Castaneda, but he was too much of a fat ass. And now, and you know what? Golden Boy loved that style matchup. I worked really hard to put that deal together. And what does he do? Backs out and now has signed a deal, Kendo Castaneda, to fight Elvis Rodriguez on a top rank card for less money.
Oh, Jesus. Well,
yep.
Yeah. All right.
Welcome to boxing. This is why, guys, the boxing business, boy, it's a pain in the ass sometimes, isn't it, Coach?
Yeah. It's not for the weak. Yeah. But Conwell, they need more rounds under their belt.
Yep. Tell you what, guys, and we look forward to seeing everyone back who was successful. We can't wait to see the next one. Anthony Manzano, welcome to the Joe Stern. Thank you for supporting the coach. Coach and Joe. When I look at Vergil, he's not a traditional come forward volume puncher where he starts throwing punches right away at a high volume rate. He starts slow, and he's a Hemi engine. Is that going to serve him well against Terence Crawford, Coach?
Shit. He ain't got no defense against Crawford. He's going to get picked apart.
Yep.
How the hell are you going to compete with somebody like Crawford, a sharpshooter? Okay.
Yep.
And you ain't got no defense to defend yourself against the weapons in his vast arsenal. Come on, man. It doesn't make sense.
Peter Von Arx, he says he's got no confidence in Turkey. The Turkey won't get it made. No, he won't. But someone with the initials DK will. Bohachuk versus Vergil is the fight to make. I agree. But guys, make no mistake about it. They're already working on Vergil Ortiz versus Terence Crawford. Okay.
And they already agreed to it yesterday, man. Now they're just going to get the details out. And what's his name has a bottomless pit when it comes to money. Both parties will be satisfied in their financial demands. Once you get both fighters satisfied in their financial demands, everything else is just a formality. Where you're going to fight at, the gloves you're going to use, and all this bullshit. Beta testing.
Coach, come on now. Do you really think Oscar puts Vergil Ortiz in a fight with stud Charles Conwell, former Olympian?
Why the fuck would you want to do something like that for, man? I mean, come on.
For no money.
The money's with Crawford. You go where the money's at. That's why you're in this fucking business, to get those paydays. All right.
There it is. There it is, guys. Oh, geez. I hope I'm wrong. Spot on, Joseph. Fernando Vargas Redux. All over this for Vergil. Oh, geez, if they aren't careful. Yeah, you know what? That's what I'm afraid of. I've seen it way
You
too
know
many
what,
times.
Joe? I'm not
No.
afraid. I don't give a shit. I just want good fights. Fuck all that. I'm not a man.
Of
I'm not
course.
being a manager. I'm being a media
Oh,
guy. I don't
yeah,
give a
you know
fuck.
what?
You know
Yeah,
what I
you know
mean?
what? You're right, coach. On this show, I should talk about
Shit.
this
Who the
like
fuck
a
cares?
commentator. You're right.
Oh, it's like, man, fuck.
You're right.
You're a media guy. You shouldn't give a fuck. We just want to see good fights. Let their manager worry about that shit.
Yep. And Jose Garcia says, why didn't Bud look so great in his last fight? And Adam Hurley takes care of your light work, brother. And he says, Jose, because Madrimov was afraid to get countered. So he bebopped around most of the fight. You know what, coach?
I said that in my broadcast last week. Played it safe, baby. Look, you know when a guy's playing it safe when they're not willing to open up, when they only want to throw one punch at a time. All right.
Yep, that's it. Oh, Adam Hurley. They should make Bohachuk versus Charles Conwell. Tell you what, that would be a very tough test for Charles Conwell, who's never had to fight at that pace. Coach, what say you?
Good fight. Not his next fight. I think he needs more rounds under his belt before he fights a guy like that. You know what I mean? Me personally. Me.
Yep. Jose also says, yep, Venado Lopez was careless. Paid the price. Oof. Boy, he sure did. That was ugly. You have to go back to Oscar Valdez, Alacran Burchelt to see that kind of action. Woo!
Yeah.
That was ugly, guys. Ugly. And look, Venado needs to move up in weight. He's been killing himself to make 26 and then put him in that high altitude. Recipe for disaster. Recipe for disaster. Tell you what. And here to there, says coach. Agreed. Do you think this is the perfect time for Bud to pick off Vergil in a showcase type performance? Is he catching him at the right time?
No. look, Bud's got all everything, all the factors in his favor. The skill, the boxing intelligence, the ambidextrous switch hitting style, the jab, the counterpunching ability, footwork, and championship experience under his belt. This motherfucker only got 12 rounds of championship experience under his belt. All right. He's green. To me, he's still green. He's got a lot of growing. To do. And all them easy fights he had when he was Golden Boy coming up didn't do him any good. You saw it last night. Well, you saw his deficiencies, but his heart and will of a fighter to win, the will to win was greater than his skill to win. Customado used to say. You saw that last night, but he still needs to add more dimensions to his game and polish up aspects of his game, like his inside game, no more leaning forward like this. And, hopefully his people can figure it out and correct those mistakes.
Yep. There it is. There it is. Truer words were never spoken. I would say I had to put this up. Canelo's acting like a diva. He's changed. Coach, he's always been a diva. What are you talking about?
Look, when you're the face of boxing, you tend to act like that. You want everything done your way. You could call the shots. So, you know what I mean?
So I guess we just answered Mini Meal's question. Mini Meal, welcome to the show, sir. And he said, Joe, why doesn't Turkey want to work with Tim Tszyu? And there it is. There it is, because Tim Tszyu is a big, big star in Australia.
Political reasons we can't get into. Political reasons we can't talk about.
Oh, there it is. There it is,
Boxing's
guys.
politics now. Okay, you got to deal with that shit.
Sure is. Sure is, guys. Promoters should be accustomed to losing money on Bud Crawford fights. Hey, man, but if you talk to Bud Crawford, he's the biggest star in America.
Hey,
Ching Gao, coach.
You know what? Was it a Hawker Mustang?
Hawker Mustang, our dear friend.
Gives a shit. I'm not losing no money. I'm watching good. I want to see good fights. I could give a fuck if they lose money.
Oh, Chingo.
I mean, or this or that, or who he's gonna. All I want, my job is to report the best fights possible that you fans love, that you're gonna get excited about, so I could talk about it and get you guys more excited about it, man. Not
There it is. And
care
Low
about
Clarity has
them.
the beat. Coach doesn't have
Yeah.
any more F's to give. Just
Man.
entertain him with some carnage.
Yeah, man. I don't get involved if they're gonna lose. Look, I don't get. I don't. That's none of my business if they lose money or make money. Man, bullshit. My job is to report on the best matchups possible and break down the best matchups possible and how it's going to play out, who's going to win, and get you motherfuckers excited to tune the fuck in. If they lose money, that's on them. That's them motherfuckers, man. That's their problem, not mine.
Yeah, isn't it nice? Yeah. He's breaking out it's almost like when Coach starts saying that, it's almost like seeing your favorite band and they start playing the classics, isn't it? It's like going to see the Eagles live and they play Hotel California.
I mean, it's not. I can't. Oh man, it's not good for his career. Oh, who cares? If I think it's a good fight, that's the only thing I want to see. I don't give a fuck if it. It's not good for his career, but it's a fight I want to see, and he's gonna get paid. You're in this business to get those paydays, Khalid. And guess what? You know what I mean? These are opportunities far and rare, and you jump on that opportunity when it's there. Okay, Ortiz's next fight. What if he takes the easier fight and he loses? Well, he kissed that payday goodbye. Fuck this fight. If Turkey wants to fight and he's got the money to put it up, okay, Turkey, give me the money and let's make the deal. That's why you're in this business. It's called prize fighting. You don't fight for trophies. You fight for those checks, baby. Okay.
There it is. There it is. Outlaw, welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. And T. Sanders says, thank you for the elaboration, coach. Great points.
Yes, hey, T. Sanders.
He's the master.
I gave you a motherfucking, what do you call it? A world-class.
Masterclass.
A world-class masterclass on fundamentals of fighting in the pocket. Just a little bit. I didn't tell you a lot. I just gave you a little taste of the honey. I didn't give you the main meal. Right?
And Alberto says, yep, coach, checks in the mail.
Fuck. Oh, yeah. I heard that in boxing. Oh, don't worry about your money. The check's in the mail. When a motherfucker tells me that in boxing, I start worrying. Yeah. No, I want my money up front, bitch. I ain't got time for my checks in the mail. I want my money now.
And Outlaw just reaffirms no robbery. Only one man got hurt repeatedly, and that was Bohachuk. He said Vergil
Bohachuk did a lot of damage with that jab. Yeah, he got hurt. Yeah, you're right. He got hurt a lot. But that damage to Ortiz's face was that consistent jab in Vergil's face. Busted up his nose, swelled up his face. It gave the impression that Bohachuk did most of the damage in the fight and the two knockdowns. Okay, that right there, it gave the impression that he did enough to a lot of people in boxing that he won the fight, especially Tom Loeffler, great guy. If I was the promoter, I'd be saying the same shit as Tom. This fight deserves a rematch. We got robbed. Look at Vergil Ortiz's face. Look at my guy's face. Nothing. He's clean. Okay?
Yep.
Look at the two knockdowns.
Taking advantage of the moment. Big Luke, welcome to the show, sir. We love you, man. Thank you for supporting the coach, always, my friend. And thank you for praying with us last night, my brother.
Hey, Joe.
God bless you, bro.
Joe, we got a lot of people in the queue, or like usual?
Yes, sir. All night we have. Good. So keep the questions coming, guys, for coach. Tell you what, we feel like we're just getting started, but
I could talk a lot of shit all night, baby.
Trust me, Coach can. And Eric, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for supporting the coach. Yeah, I love how honest coach is. Yes, sir. The breath of fresh air in this version of boxing now, isn't he?
Hey, great fight, though, man. Got to give credit. It got everybody excited. Today we're talking about it, and guess what? We're gonna have Monday morning quarterbacks in the gym talking about it. What Vergil should have did, and what Sergey should have did. They're going to have different opinions who won the fight. Everybody's perception is different. But guess what? When you had that split difference, when a lot of people thought Bohachuk won, a lot of people thought Ortiz won, it was a great fight. It warrants a rematch. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there it is. Alberto, look, brother, I don't have a soft spot in my heart, man, for any fighters unless they actually let their balls hang in the ring and show me that toughness. Because honestly, dude, if you're going to be like Jermell Charlo, he's from Houston, Texas, he can kiss my ass. But Vergil, boy, he showed me a lot last night. That guy showed me that he's got balls, and he can adapt, and he can actually fight through those wars of attrition, man.
He showed me
he
that
graduated in my book.
He showed me that he was a resilient competitor in adverse moments during the fight. Yeah. That's what I want to see. I want to see that resilient competitor in him. People say, "Oh, he got dogged." No. It's being a resilient competitor. Being able to overcome that adversity and to fight through those tough moments when they arrive. You never know when they're gonna arrive. You think Vergil expected to get put on his ass the first time, the second time when he got hit by that hook? Nah, it happens. So, like I said, you motherfuckers out there listening, when adversity strikes, the first thing I look at is how do they react? But the second thing I look at, more importantly, is how do they respond? Okay.
There it is, guys, and thank you for hanging with us, Alberto, man. We love you.
And Alberto,
go ahead, sir.
A great victory. You can't have a great victory unless you overcome adversity. Nick Saban said it right on the money.
There it is. Was a great victory. There it is. It was a great victory. We love that drama. Want to see it again. Dial it up. Outlaw James, not my problem, Gogi. Yeah. Oh man, I tell you what, guys, Coach. But I will say,
T. Sanders, you never told me where you're from.
Oh yeah, T. Sanders, please disclose where you're listening to the show from, man. He always wants to know, Coach, where everyone's tuning in. I tell you what. Look, you know what? This is very interesting. Minnie Meal says, you know what? Ortiz's energy of Crawford wasn't too firm. Ortiz seemed like he wanted the Spence Fundora winner. Seems to me like Ortiz just doesn't want that fight with Crawford, to be honest.
Shit. When they show him that check he's gonna cash, it's gonna change his attitude real quick.
It is.
He can make this much for fighting. He can make this much for fighting Fundora, or he can make this much for fighting Crawford. Duh. I don't need to go to motherfucking Harvard. I don't need to go to Harvard Business School to figure that shit out.
I love it, Coach. I love it. I tell you what, I love it when you're on your game, man. Consolidated Planning. Shout out to you, Joseph. Shout out to you, my friend. And thank you for supporting the coach, brother. We always love to see you here. He says, I know your opinion on these, but how does Coach like the Everlast MX gloves for his fighters?
I like it. They're nice. They're a horsehair. They're nice and compact. When they first came out, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago, a lot of fighters were telling me that a lot of fighters broke their hand in them. Yeah, and that kind of scared me away. But I'm pretty sure Everlast made some improvements to give the hand more protection, but maintain that puncher's feel. Yeah, I like that. Reyes gloves I bought my fighter, Bram Rotomosa, some brand new gloves for his last fight, the Reyes ones. They have that horsehair and foam mixed together. That gives you that compact feel.
Yep.
Yeah, when you hit. Yeah, Reyes gloves in the Mexican Everlast. And I like the Everlast Pro Lock. I really like those gloves, the Pro Lock and the Grant gloves. Oh, my boy Elvis Phillips, the president of Grant. Excellent gloves. Yeah.
Yep. Tell you what, those are the best gloves, Coach, by far, the Grants. They're puncher's gloves and they're protective.
They're the most motherfucking expensive. Jesus, Elvis.
Yeah, they are.
Break. Shit.
But I will say,
man.
I will say this: the best horsehairs are indeed. You're right on the money, Coach. Cleto Reyes makes the best horsehairs. Yep.
I went to their factory last week, and I was watching that shit and how they were making it. I mean, not last week when my guy fought, and they gave me the gloves they sold me. I put them on. I'm like, yeah, this is it. Look, I've tried thousands of different types of gloves on, man. I know when I feel a glove is right, and when I felt that, I'm like, this motherfucker's good.
Now this is interesting.
Adams, check this out, Joe.
Oh,
Adams
yeah,
Boxing. Sir. Adams Boxing, who makes, the Adams Boxing shoes, top of the line.
Yep.
Creme de la creme. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my boy. takes care of my fighters. He's coming out with his new boxing equipment and his fight gloves. Whew, fucking great. Oh man, they're awesome. He's mother.
Yeah.
I put them on. I'm like, man, this is you're gonna be hearing about it. The new Adams fight glove. Man, I put them on. I'm like, man, fit perfectly to my hand. I could feel the nice compact fit, the protection on my knuckles firm all the way right here. I said, Carlos, these are it, baby. Because I put tons of them on. And I put those on. I'm like, I like these. So you'll be hearing about it. The new Adams fight glove, and all this training equipment, the headgears, the sparring gloves, the cups, and all that shit. He's branching out. He's trying to, go out there and compete with rivals,
yep,
and all you motherfuckers out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell you what, I like Russ Amber's product also. Rivals, good stuff.
Russ, good stuff. Good stuff.
Russ Amber's a good guy. Great guy.
He really put a lot of time and effort in developing and perfecting his equipment. Russ, excellent stuff. Expensive as fuck, but it's good. Yeah.
Well, look. And well, here's something interesting, Coach. Here's something interesting. Tell us how, because when Elvis Grant started making his gloves,
yeah,
everyone in boxing had to step up their game. Winning, Everlast, Cleto Reyes, everyone had to step up their game. Rival, tell us about the difference.
It was in the 90s.
Yep. Tell us
in the mid-90s, man.
Now hold on, Coach. Tell us the difference between the Everlast product of the 80s and then the Everlast product you see now.
Look, I was there in the 90s when his gloves came out. I met Elvis like in the mid-90s. I fight in Vegas. I can't remember, man. I used to go to fights in Vegas like I used to use toilet paper. I fought there all the time, man. Yeah, but he was walking around with his gloves, and I seen him walking. And I knew Elvis from a distance because, his boy was Camacho. So, I called him over. I said, hey, let me see your glove. I put them on. I'm like, motherfucker. He goes, yeah, I'm coming out with my new gloves. I'm like, these are good, man. I said, man, these are better. Because back then, Everlast had dog shit for gloves. Only real gloves out there were, there was not a lot of different type of brands. There was only Everlast, Reyes, and that was it. Casanova used to be a big player, but they weren't a big player when Elvis came out. So it was them two. So when Elvis came out with his gloves, man, Roy Jones was the first guy he sponsored to start, getting his name out, and my fighter, Lawrence Claybay. Because when I put him on, I said, Elvis, man, it was a couple years later when my guy turned pro. I said, Elvis, man, I really like your shit. Take care of me. And he sponsored my guy, second fighter. And Clay loved those gloves. Only gloves, man, fit his hands perfect protection. They worked the way they were built. Combination, the special foam. He didn't use horsehair. It was back then. It was some foam, but it felt so good. All the fighters loved Elvis.
Therapeutic foam. Yep.
Yeah, and Elvis, I was when he first started. Before he started, I was the one that made my contract because boxing is about relationships, developing with other people, and that's how you get shit done. And Elvis is one of the first guys. And his gloves were it's still going on, man. It's still. I'm pretty sure Elvis, made his glove more innovative, made it more higher quality. But back then, oh God, they were good. All the David Reed loved them. Olympic gold medalist Floyd loved them. All the fighters started using them, man, back there. But my guy was the second one, man. Yeah, he took care of me. We got equipment, all this shit. When you sponsor you, man, it was a handshake deal, no contracts or nothing. Elvis, yeah, every fight we had Grant gloves, man. And once he started stepping up his game, all the other competitors had to step up. Competition, it brings out the best in everybody. Everlast started, becoming more, and they got complacent. They started becoming more innovative in their equipment design, better quality gloves. Reyes started stepping up their game, developing better quality gloves, and they had to. Because Elvis came on the scene and got them lazy, complacent motherfuckers off their ass. And they had to step up. And Elvis is the one that did it. Yeah, I was there. I was there when it happened. Man. Yeah, Grant Elvis Phillips, excellent gloves, expensive as fuck. And
it's worth it though, man. Worth it.
Yeah, but if you're with a promoter, you have that in the contract where they pay for the fighters' fight gloves every fight. You always have your fighter use a brand new pair of gloves. You don't want to use a motherfucking pair of gloves everybody else is using. They're in the bag. They're all sweaty. They're not dried out. Next time you fight, you want to use a brand new set of gloves, especially
guys,
in a big fight. Yeah.
Guys, word to the wise: if you're a fighter, don't ever forget your gloves at home, because community gloves at the gym, you feel like you want a tetanus shot afterwards. Oh my gosh!
One thing I learned is to invest in a new pair of gloves for my fighter every fight, especially my guys I got right now. I make sure their gloves are new because, man, that's your hands. They got to be protected. That's the number one thing. And if you have a good pair of gloves, you're gonna, it increases your hands of being protected. Plus, you're gonna have, you're gonna feel good when you're fighting instead of you getting the glove and 12 other motherfuckers wore it over the last 10 fights. I did that. I said, man, from now on, it's just I don't mind investing in it. But once you sign with a promoter, I always tell them, make sure we got to have a pair of brand new gloves. You know what I mean? They try to pull that shit when it gets kind of expensive. Before one fight, they try to pull that shit when I said, hey man, what does that say in the contract? Okay, pay for it. You know what I mean? Shit. But anyway,
there it is.
You got to have your gloves, baby.
Yep. Got to protect your hands. Got to protect your working tools. Alberto, thank you for still hanging with us. We're past 96 minutes. Says, why is Turkey talking so bad about the U.S. in the Western world? Geez, I wonder why, sir. He says he recently made disparaging comments about our hotels, food, and entertainment. I've always been weary of Turkey. Look, guys, this is for another show. Not for boxing.
Shit what he says, as long as he keeps writing them checks, baby, and putting up good fights.
Guys, it goes very, very deep down the rabbit hole. But I tell you what,
who gives a shit? Talk about
Tyco TV shares your sentiment. Says Coach Kogi is the effing man. Yes, he is. And T. Sanders says, "Yep, I'm from the Lone Star State, Coach."
All right,
there it is.
Like I said, man, who gives a shit? Let him keep writing them checks, man. It ain't my problem if he loses money. I just want to see good fights.
Yeah, thank you for joining us and always supporting the coach, Tycho. We love you, brother. Alberto goes, yep. Coach is a straight shooter. Imagine sitting next to Coach and Big Rick on a train or a plane. Oh, boy. I tell you what, guys, you know what the best, and I've only experienced this maybe once or twice, but guys, if you ever sit next to Coach during a live fight card, ring the bell because school is in session.
I'll give you
honestly, besides Emmanuel, I think that's the most I've ever learned at a fight card.
I'll give you a motherfucking tutorial, a master's degree class on breaking down a fight.
Yeah. Guys, and you will never forget it for as long as you live. And Coach, let me tell you guys, we're all very blessed to be able to go visit with Coach every single Sunday because, guys, he has a rare gift. Like, he not only has the best eyes in the business, but he explains everything better than anyone else I've ever met aside from Emmanuel. And that's no joke, guys.
That Emmanuel was a man. I met Emmanuel late 80s. I started getting to know him in the 90s. USA Nationals, 92. My guy beat his guy, Terence Crawford, in the semis. Then I started knowing him there. I really started to know him. Then, the Olympic trials, I see him. We sit down and shoot the shit. But I really started to know him when he was in Big Bear. When he moved to Big Bear, his camp to Big Bear with Lennox Lewis, and started training in Larry Goosen's gym up there, where all the great fighters, all the great trainers of that era trained their fighters. And then when Emmanuel opened up his own gym with Robert Kardashian's money, I used to go watch him train his fighters there in the 90s. Emmanuel Stewart, that is a walking boxing encyclopedia. The GOAT. Yep. The GOAT, the greatest of all time, man. I've been around all the great coaches. Eddie Futch was pretty damn good. George Benton was pretty damn good. Bill Miller, Jesse Reed, Kenny Adams, Joe Goosen. Yep. Who else I've been? What's his name? Bill Slayton, Ken Norton's trainer.
Yep.
Murphy Griffin, trained Brian Mitchell. Murphy Griffin, the cousin of Emil Griffin, he was a damn good coach. Willie Rush. I've been around all these badass coaches. Abel Sanchez, Robert Garcia, Freddie. I've been all of these, but Manuel was the best. He was.
Yep.
He's the GOAT, man. Manuel he was a machine. That boy, man, you never know how great he is until he's gone. Same as great Don Targan.
Ain't that the truth? Yep. Yeah. And Gogie's not joking, not even exaggerating when he calls Emmanuel a machine. Let me give you a story, guys. And one of the cards that we were working on, I was calling a fight, and I was exhausted. He was still talking to the fans. I just did commentary on his entire webcast, and I was ready for bed. He went to go get something to eat with Sugar, and I saw him, and I was passing him after the fight, and after we closed everything down, I said, Emmanuel, I'm Bush, man. I'm going to hit the hay. I'll see you in the morning. He goes, no, you won't, man, unless you wake up at 4 in the morning. I got a plane to catch to Germany. I'm going to be starting training Vladimir Klitschko tomorrow. He never rested, guys.
A machine.
Yep.
Manuel was his services were highly, what do you call it?
In demand.
Seeked, in demand, yeah. His services, everybody wanted Emmanuel, man. Emmanuel, everybody wanted Emmanuel. Yes, he was in high demand. When you're a well-known trainer like that, and people see your success, everybody wants to train with you. Just like Robert Garcia right now, he gets a lot of talent going over his way. Me, I can't be like that, man. I got 2 guys right now, and they're doing real good. We're right on track, and I can't see myself taking on 40 motherfuckers, man. I'm too old for that shit. Traveling here, going to. I did all that, man. I don't need that, man. I don't need to live the life. I don't need to live the life of. I don't need to live the life of a, what do you call it? A fucking rapper or a rock star, man. Shit, traveling.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, we love you just the way you are. But I asked Emmanuel that, and why does he take on these assignments like with Miguel Cotto, Vladimir Klitschko?
The fucking money. Shit.
That's it. He said, look around all these fighters right here, Coach. And I looked around and I'm like, yeah, but you got a lot of kids. Yeah. How do you think that gets paid for? It ain't HBO.
Yeah.
He said this, and this is what a great man Emmanuel was. He goes, now look, Joseph, everybody thinks that I'm a wealthy man because of all the big assignments that I have, all the champions that I've had, and all the HBO shows that we've done. But I'm not a rich man. All of my money goes into all of those kids that you see right there.
Yeah, he puts it back into he reinvests it back in them kids. Yeah.
He was one of the only guys besides you, Coach, that genuinely loved to still go see the amateur competitions. He loved to find that diamond in the rough. He absolutely loved it. He lived for that stuff, just like you, man.
I used to see Manuel at the tournaments, man. Like, okay. Back in the days. But yeah, man, like I said, Manuel was a real boxing guy. See, all these other champions all these other great coaches I talked about, they never worked with amateurs. They never developed amateurs from the grassroots all the way to world champions. Manuel did.
Emmanuel loved that part of it. He loves finding that diamond in the rough and then developing them into champions.
And he was a master at it, Manuel. A master.
Yep.
The GOAT.
And I tell you what, man, it always broke his heart too, man, when his fighters lost. And like Emmanuel, he genuinely cared. He loved every single one of his fighters. I tell you what, man.
Hey, man, like I said, he's not around no more. You never know how great he was until he's gone, man. Manuel, I know John Targan or Lorraine, guys like that. They were great. Now, all the great trainers I know in the past, like Eddie, George, they're gone. Who else? Bill Slayton, they're gone. Murphy Griffin. I mean, all these great trainers I knew. Bill Miller, all these great trainers I knew. I talked to. I obtained knowledge from. Jesse Reed is the only one that's left. Joe Goosen, I haven't talked to in a while.
Well, he's pretty much retired now, Coach.
I don't talk too much. But them guys, they're walking fucking legends, man. Jesse Reed, Joe Goosen, Freddie Roach, They're fucking legends. Kenny Adams just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. He has he has Parkinson right now. So he's having problems. But
yeah, just like Floyd Sr. has dementia now
Floyd,
too. Yeah.
Floyd's my man. That's my boy, man. And great trainer. Just ask him if you don't believe me. He'll tell you how great a trainer he is.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yep, he'll tell you in song too, man. He'll tell you in a rhyme.
But you don't see them now. You don't see these old school trainers, old school sages nowadays. I'm one of the last Mohegans, man. That's why
you are.
I thank God every day I wake up for health. As long as I got health, I can keep on. What do you call it? I can keep on preaching the gospel. Yeah.
Now, before nutritionists and before conditioning coaches, Emmanuel, this is how amazing he was, man, and he loved to cook. In fact, he used to exchange recipes with Lennox's mom.
Yeah.
They used to always get in the kitchen together, and it was just an amazing thing. He used to cook when he was in camp, even taking him to the Poconos.
I know.
He used to make sure and cook every single meal for all of his fighters.
When he was in Big Bear, he used to barbecue, man. I missed a few of those motherfuckers I should have went to. Damn it. No, I'm having a barbecue. But I didn't, because we used to train the same gym, or I used to go watch them, or we see each other in town at the pool hall. Yeah, I'm having a barbecue. But I never took advantage of it and went over there. I should have. God damn.
No, he could cook, man. He could cook.
Yeah, I heard he's a master at barbecuing too, man. Manuel.
Yep.
That's what the fighters would tell me. But
dude, that's how I first learned how to make the perfect steak. He gave me the secret. Is like, see what you want to do, Joseph. You want to get that grill as hot as you can possibly get it. You char it on both sides for a minute, and then you just put it over to the side. You smoke it for about 20 minutes, and it comes out. And I swear, best steak I ever made is because Emmanuel taught me. Yep.
What a bad motherfucker Emmanuel was, man. He was
everything he did was good, man.
just being around him, all the times I got to see him in Big Bear and learning all that, learning the importance. Number one thing he taught me was footwork and balance. How important. He goes, that's the foundation. He goes, boxing starts with footwork, and without footwork, you ain't got no balance. Without footwork, no balance, you're in trouble. You can't do nothing offensively or defensively. And he always told me that. I remember that. Yeah, because I was watching a workout one time, and he was putting Lennox Lewis through 12 rounds of shadow boxing. That's all they did. And hit the speed bag 3 rounds. I go, that's all you're going to do? He goes, you got to learn your footwork. Boxing starts with footwork. Without footwork, got no balance. Kind of like lit up, a light bulb in my head. Yeah, that manual is fun.
It's the foundation for that mansion. That's it. That's it.
You go around the gyms nowadays, they don't talk about these fucking coaches. They don't talk about
all they're worried about is doing the flash mitt work, man.
They don't talk about old school fundamentals, Joe. There's a disconnect. It's lost. Only a few coaches out there preach that to their fighters. It's lost. It's a disconnect. You know what I mean?
And I tell you what, you guys are getting it every single Sunday. Yeah. But I tell you what, we have gone way over time. Yeah. We're almost 2 hours in, Coach. So I tell you what, guys, we're going to call it a night.
Yeah.
But we want to thank all of you guys for joining us. And I tell you what, it's always a pleasure, guys. T. Sanders says this, Coach, can we get Gogi watch party on the big fights, the pay-per-views? Well, guys, that's kind of a hairy issue because he usually likes to watch the pay-per-views with his fighters, and that's how he teaches them, right? Yeah. That's part of the training process. So I'm not sure if we can do that. Maybe for one of the fights on the prelims, maybe. But he likes to focus with his fighters. But we'll see, guys. But that would be an amazing treat because I tell you what, watching a fight with Coach, it's special.
Oh, guys. When you watch a fight with me, I give you a motherfucking masterpiece, a masterclass on how the fight's playing out. I give you a masterclass on the adjustments both fighters need to make. I give you a masterclass on the deficiencies on both fighters. All this stuff, man. And a lot of it's defense. A lot of it's defense.
Yep. And my brother consolidated in the business is, Manuel said when he first started working with Lewis and Klitschko, he would have them work on left steps and right steps for round and round until they got frustrated with him.
Yeah.
Yep. Shows his attention to detail. Indeed. Yeah. He says, I tell my guys stance and footwork is everything.
That's your foundation. That's a good stance, good footwork is your foundation. Without a strong foundation, when you start building up, it's going to crumble. Okay. In tough fights, you got to have that foundation. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you for hanging with us, Consolidated. We love you, brother. And Lance Meyer from St. Paul. Thank you for joining us, my brother. And thank you for always supporting the coach and the channel. We love you too, man. That's just about it, Coach. Any parting shots for our listening audience, sir?
Well, next week, the Mbili fighting Derevyanchenko. A great style matchup on paper, and it should live up to the billing. Because Mbili, when he gets in that ring, there's only one thing on his mind: knock out. Okay, he don't fuck around. Okay, every punch he throws has bad intentions, baby. He wants a knockout, and Derevyanchenko's the same way: physical, aggressive mindset, and it's going to be a good fight. Good fight.
Yep. It's going to be an excellent fight, guys. 2 weeks consecutively. And I'll tell you what, we were really treated. And to be honest with you, tonight, I think I'm going to watch the replay of Vergil Ortiz and Sergey Bohachuk while I'm eating my late night cereal.
And watch the jab. Watch the consistent jab of Bohachuk round after round, which is doing the most damage to Ortiz.
There it is. I'll tell you what, guys. There it is, guys. And guys, I tell you what an honor it is to be able to spend this time with the incomparable Coach Gogi. Tell you what, we love you, Coach. Thank you for all your time, my friend. And guys, if you missed any part of this show, you can see it all week, or you can just press rewind right now. But guys, on behalf of the one and only Coach James Gogi, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to War Week Boxing. Have a great week, everybody.
Vergil Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogi.